So the question is, especially guys that tournament fish or fish a lot of different ports, do we notice that the baits change a lot from port to port? I think every port's different. I've never seen green water. I didn't understand this green water thing, this king water.
Yeah.
I didn't know what it was. We don't have that in Ludington. I mean, hardly ever do you see it. Sometimes a little bit by the point.
Exactly.
But then go to Grand Haven and Holland and South Haven and St. Joe, and this water it's incredible. It's cool looking water, like fish in the mud. Fish in the mud in Ludington, there's like one strip, and depending which way the wind goes, it's the width of one spread. Grand Haven's it's like an entire body of water on its own.
It's a whole different
You're going to
lake.
go out on the lake, or you're just going to fish the mud. Right. There's a lot of room. There's 100 boats in the mud. So I think the color of the water definitely makes a change. When you tournament fish, I think there's two things going on. One, you're following water temperature because the water's getting warmer as you go north. But you're also fishing the same fish.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, those kings are moving north as you're fishing tournaments going north. And there's a lot more similarities than you think. But that being said, north of Little Point Sauble, there's a lot of baits that don't work. And there's a lot of baits in Ludington that, like 11-inch paddles in Grand Haven, it does not produce the same way for me. Yeah. I don't know if it's length. I don't know what the differences are. But there's definitely like you guys run a lot of stingers in the south part of the lake. Stingers they just don't produce the same way.
Just like
as maybe like a SS spoon or something like that. So there's definitely some changes. I would say it's less color and more shape of the spoon
or size
of the spoon.
Like we run a lot of standard size stuff or half moon or standard stingers.
Yeah.
And then you got these big ones.
Yeah.
I barely even own any of them.
Yeah, we run a
Never
lot of
really run
bags
them
up north.
Yeah, I think.
Go ahead.
I was just going to say, I think, like Adam said, it is the same fish. We're fishing the same fish. So I think different groups of fish key on certain things, whether it's dots or different size profiles. But in addition to the color of the water, the depth is so much different. Like if you're fishing inside of me one day and I got to turn outside at the point, I just changed 200 feet of water. So I mean, compared to further south, you got to run 15 miles offshore to find 300, 400 feet of water.
Yeah, you guys
and everything looks different down there.
Do a west troll for 5 miles and change 10 feet of water.
Yeah.
We changed 400 in 5 feet, 5 miles. So it's definitely. I think there's a lot of differences in the way that you fish. It's pretty common in Ludington to catch fish 200 down.
Yep.
But that we're only 3 miles offshore. So it's a little different. I don't know.
Lucky.
Yeah.
You're about 11.
Definitely.
Even the plug colors that probably like what we fish in Grand Haven compared to what you guys fish in.
We fish a lot of natural colors.
Yeah.
Even from
for our plugs.
Grand Haven to Muskegon, like Muskegon green scaling was really big, and then when you move to Grand Haven, nobody runs that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
At all. That was top producer in Muskegon.
I will say though, fishing, I haven't fished a lot in the southern part of the lake until the last few years. And I've seen a lot of different things that I'd never seen up north. But, you have your little group of people. It's not like I'm calling Jeff in Grand Haven to get the report, because it's probably not going to have anything to do with Ludington, But as I meet all these other people and I see the little things that they do, but you see a lot of similarities in the things that you do. Maybe the color is different, but the techniques are similar, or the way that something's rigged, or a lot of the philosophies remain the same. It's just adjusting to water temperature and water clarity for sure.
Yeah.
Even Grand Haven to Port Sheldon can be a little different. Your plug colors, if you're in the mud in Grand Haven, are going to be different than the plug colors I'm going to run in clean water at Port Sheldon. Going to be more greens and blues. Probably never run an orange one most of the time down there, but if you get up in the mud, then you're going to be running red heads on whites and chrome red heads and bright oranges, just so they can see it in that mud. The other big one that I've seen tournament fishing, Muskegon North, a lot of black baits work better to me. I just see that. So carbon raspberry, the carbon 14 spin doctors with a lot more black on it. We run them
Yeah.
further south, but they just don't seem to do the same. I have buddies in Muskegon fishing, and they're like, oh, that's all we're catching is on black rotators and black Magnum spoons, but I can't get them to go 15 miles south.
No.
So
And I think that's a water temperature thing. I think you got to have warm water pretty deep in the water column, but you still got to have cold water underneath. I don't want to stay in warm water. Like in Grand Haven, if you're in 100 feet of water and it's 70 on the bottom, you got to go to deeper water to get into those fish. Or you're fishing staging fish, which would be different. But in Ludington, if you're in 100 feet of water, you can just slide out to 140 feet and you have 40 feet of cold water underneath. But then those blacks come to life.
Absolutely.
Especially out of town.
Yeah.
Hold them right on the top of
Yeah.
right on the top edge of that thermal, and you'll especially big hungry kings, or at least not happy kings.
Right.
Yeah, the very mad ones. So.